What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. And today's video is going to be a review over the latest episode of Paramount Plus's MobLand. This is going to be season 1, episode 5. I believe it's entitled Funeral for a Friend. So before I get into my review and my thoughts, if you're new to the channel, we always start off with a score here. Scoring system is 0 to 5, 0 being trash and 5 being a masterpiece. I gave this one a solid 4 out of 5. This was a great episode. There's a lot of tension in the episode, and of course the show has the right balance of, if you want to call it levity slash little bit of comedy. But so without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into it. So after the events of the last week's episode, the Harrigans were invited to Tommy's funeral by Richie Stevenson. So, of course, the episode begins with they call a meeting, a war room meeting, and they decide their move. Are they going to go? The pros and cons of going. Harry breaks it all down. You know, it's basically some 48 laws of power kind of stuff going on, because they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. If they go, I mean, it could show a sign of weakness. If they do go, if they don't go, they can be viewed as disrespectful. So the family, Conrad, here's what everybody has to say, mainly Richie, and decides, you know what, we're going to go. So they all decide to go. And of course, Harry wants to establish insurance policy because Conrad and everybody else, they're worried about the security. Like, we go there, some shit pops off. What are we going to do? And so Harry finds the weak link in the family, and we find out the weakest link of the family is Freddie. And what we find out is Freddie is sleeping with Vron. Vron is the wife of Richie Stevenson. So basically, Harry blackmails him into getting guns and fucking grenades inside of the Stevenson compound in case, you know, stuff gets left. Or stuff goes left. It goes left and, you know, stuff pops off. And so with the insurance policy and exit strategy taken care of, the gang heads to the funeral. And like I said, there's a lot of tension going to the funeral. I mean, you got Kevin and Bella's situation where Kevin, I don't want to go too far off, but I feel so sorry for him, man. We find out, of course, the last episode, we find out what happened to him in the juvenile facility with that guard, Rugsby, which, I mean, he was shown, and now Kevin's starting to inquire about him. You know, the previous episode, he said he couldn't remember him, wasn't sure who it was, but now he's actually inquiring about how did Harry come about this guy and where is he at? And so it seems like it's going to be one of those things where Kevin's going to decide whether or not to take him out. And I believe he will. I think he will. But at the same time, you know, he's being emasculated by his wife. I mean, yeah, she says that she's not saying because he feels his wife doesn't trust what he says. She's always mentioning what Harry says. So he's feeling a certain way about it. Like, oh man, you know, we got egos or whatever. And it sounds like, you know, like I said, his old lady she's going through Harry first. And then, of course, Eddie, sensing the tension in the air, he's just rubbing salt on the wounds and making the shit worse. So we got that going on. So we actually get to the funeral. And like I said, it's proceeding very well. You know, the Harrigans get out. You know, they're meeting the Stevensons. Harry and Conrad, they're handling, and Kevin, everybody's handling it as cavalier as possible. And then here comes Eddie on his bullshit. You know, he comes up there causing all kinds of problems already. They even warned him, dude, don't be doing anything that's going to set it off in here. But Eddie, being Eddie, does his thing. And right away, like, he disgusts Vron. He like walks up and tries to kiss her on the cheek when everybody else is, you know, they're understanding the situation. They're reading the room like, hey, you know, let's say, give our condolences and keep it at that and keep it moving. But Eddie, he's just got to be extra, just like his grandma, Maeve. And speaking of that, like I said, both of these two acting a damn fool. So we have Maeve, who Conrad warned before, hey, let's not drink so much. Let's lay off the Lady Petro. But, you know, Maeve's going to do what Maeve does. And so Maeve approaches Vaughn and, of course, telling her, oh, my condolences. And Vaughn's like seeing right through her bullshit and basically tells her, I didn't want any of you cunts here anyway. And then basically said, kind of just looked her up and down and was like, I don't know how Conrad fucks that. And like that right there, that played on her insecurities. Cause you know, with the whole thing with Seraphine, like I think that is one of her insecurities. And of course she pulled back and right away they saw what was going on. And then Eddie gets it popping off. I mean, it's a very volatile situation going on. And you see Kevin and Harry, they're trying to get things in line. And so what they end up doing is they give Maeve, they slip her a Mickey and to kind of incapacitate Maeve and remove her from the situation, which was a good move. They got her out of there and cleared her out. And so something else I want to talk about, Richie. I mean, you really feel for him too, because part of him has to show the strength of being the head of a crime family, but at the same time, he lost his son. So at times he's very strong and he's very weak and vulnerable. And the actor, I believe I can't remember his last name. First name is Jeff, but I can't remember. He's in a lot of Guy Ritchie stuff, but he does a great job. He does a great job, great performance in this episode. And so Richie, you know, him and Conrad have a face-to-face. It's Richie and his boys, and then Harry, Kevin, and Conrad. And basically, Richie lays it out on the table. Here's the thing. I don't want a war. You know, my son is dead, but you came here, and I respect that. He's like telling him, like, I can't stand you. I don't like you, Conrad, but I respect you for coming and showing up, which was the right move. Why these guys were debating earlier, this was the right move. Richie saw that as a token of respect for them to come and show up to the funeral. However, he revealed, which, I mean, most of us that watched the show, we knew he wasn't going to buy the bullshit about the guy who, the nightclub guy, the patsy who they brought in and said he was the one that was behind the murder of Tommy. So in so few words, he basically put it out there that he knows, like he's like, I know that your boy Eddie's involved. Matter of fact, it's on site. It's on site. And for those of you that don't know what that means if he, like he said, if I see him anywhere sitting at a park bench, it's on. It's on. So the Harrigan family is, for the most part, is clear, but it's just Eddie. He's like, if I see Eddie, I mean, he's out of here. So yeah, we get out of there, we get back, and of course, the next day happens, and Vaughn is talking to Richie, basically telling him, you know, she's going shopping. Does he need anything? And he's out of it, and so she ends up leaving, and her car goes up in flames like Sam Ross theme for Casino. Her car blows up. And what we find out is that Maeve have awoken from being drugged, and she's pissed off at Conrad. She goes off on Conrad, and Conrad's like, look, I ain't had nothing to do with that, you know, whatever. And so out of her rage, she goes and makes a phone call and calls Paul. Now, if you guys remember, Paul is one of the, you know, he's in the organization. He's in the Harrigan organization. He seems a bit of a simpleton, but he's one of the Harrigan soldiers, and he makes a phone call. And then, of course, what I just said previously happened. Avron's car blows up, and we all know that Maeve said she knows her routine, and that was Maeve's plan B. She wanted to take Vaughn out. So Harry and the gang, they're gonna have a lot of shit to deal with because the war is on now. Like it's gonna be open season on it's gonna be open season on every Harrigan now, when it was just Eddie. And like I said, Maeve, she's an agent of chaos. Her and Eddie, you know, two birds of the same feather. They are flocking together and causing all kinds of chaos. So yeah, guys, I just want to do this quick video. And oh yeah, before I go, wanted to talk a little bit about the two. I guess you could say, I don't want to call him. Well, Brendan for sure is the black sheep of the family, and then Serafina she's in the family but not in the family. She's accepted by Conrad, but like I said, because she's their half sibling. Well, whatever. You guys get it. You watch the show, it looks like Serafina, Brendan got his ducks in a row and actually came with a legit proposal. And it looks like since they've been left to their own devices, they're about to do their own thing. And I mean, with this guy, Brendan, anything he's involved in, I would run the fuck away from, because it seems like whatever this guy touches, he messes it up. And unfortunately, I think Serafina is going to be dragged into this. But if we do remember, and we'll have to see if she follows what Conrad said, because Conrad said, if you get involved with Brendan, you need to tell me and let me know immediately what's going on before you do anything. So it'll be interesting to see if Serafina just pulls the trigger and just goes ahead and makes some moves on her own without Conrad's approval. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's a bit of the episode in a nutshell. So guys, like I always say, I always appreciate you guys tuning into the channel. If it's for 1 minute, 5 minutes, or a whole damn video, I truly appreciate you. Just trying to grow this channel, guys. Please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe, smash the like, get in the comments, and let me know what you thought of this episode. And if there's anything I left out or you want to get the discussion going, let's get it popping in the comments. So with that being said, everybody, it's your boy P signing off, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.